Europe may be known for its rich history, beautiful landscapes, and cultural diversity, but like any part of the world, it has its own set of challenges. In today's video, we're diving into a list of countries that are considered the most dangerous in Europe this year. From political tensions and economic instability to rising crime rates and ongoing conflicts, these places require a higher level of caution for both residents and travelers. Whether you're planning a trip, interested in global security issues, or simply curious, join us as we uncover the top 10 most dangerous countries in Europe in 2024. Let's get started. 10. France. France, while generally safe for tourists, has experienced a rise in civil unrest, terrorism, and crime in certain areas, contributing to concerns about safety. Major cities like Paris have seen protests against government policies, including the controversial pension reforms and social inequalities, which can escalate into violence. The threat of terrorism remains a significant concern, with high-profile attacks in recent years underscoring vulnerabilities in public spaces. Additionally, urban areas face challenges related to organized crime, particularly in neighborhoods with high levels of poverty and unemployment. While many tourist areas are well policed and secure, visitors should stay informed about current events and avoid areas known for unrest or high crime rates, exercising caution when participating in public gatherings. 9. Turkey. While not a member of the European Union, Turkey's geographical and cultural ties to Europe make it relevant in discussions about safety in the region. The country faces significant challenges related to political repression, ongoing conflicts in Kurdish regions, and the impact of terrorism. The government on dissent has led to widespread human rights abuses, stifling free speech and political expression. Areas in southeastern Turkey, particularly near the border with Syria, are susceptible to violence and terrorist attacks, posing risks to travelers. Additionally, the rise of organized crime and corruption within law enforcement complicates the security landscape, making it essential for visitors to remain aware of their surroundings. Protests and civil unrest can erupt unexpectedly, particularly in major cities, requiring vigilance and caution when navigating the country. 8. Bosnia and Herzegovina. Bosnia and Herzegovina still grapples with the remnants of its brutal civil war in the 1990s, leading to ethnic divisions and political instability that contribute to its designation as a dangerous country. Tensions between the country's three main ethnic groups, Bosniaks, Croats, and Serbs, persist, with political leaders often exploiting these divisions for personal gain. The country faces significant challenges related to corruption and weak governance, undermining efforts to build a cohesive society. Crime, particularly organized crime linked to drug trafficking, remains a concern, with law enforcement often unable to address these issues effectively. Although tourist areas are generally safe, the underlying ethnic tensions and political instability can lead to sporadic outbreaks of violence or unrest. Travelers should remain vigilant and informed, particularly in regions where ethnic divisions are pronounced. 7. Georgia. Georgia's geopolitical position makes it susceptible to external pressures, particularly from Russia, which has occupied parts of its territory since the conflicts of the early 2000s. The situation in regions like Abkhazia and South Ossetia remains unresolved, with ongoing tensions posing risks to security. Internally, Georgia faces challenges related to political instability, corruption, and organized crime. While the capital, Tbilisi, is relatively safe for tourists, the potential for protests and civil unrest exists, especially during politically charged times. The presence of criminal networks involved in drug trafficking and smuggling further complicates the safety landscape, as law enforcement struggles to maintain order. Visitors should stay informed about local developments, particularly regarding political issues, to avoid areas that may become flashpoints for violence. 6. Moldova. Moldova faces numerous challenges that contribute to its reputation as a dangerous country in Europe, including political instability, corruption, and the lingering effects of a separatist conflict in the Transnistria region. The government struggles with widespread corruption, undermining public trust and leading to frequent protests against perceived injustices and economic hardship. The ongoing tensions in Transnistria, a breakaway region with a pro-Russian sentiment, create a volatile environment where the potential for violence remains. Law enforcement is often ill-equipped to deal with organized crime, which includes human trafficking and drug smuggling, exacerbating security concerns. Moreover, economic difficulties and high levels of poverty contribute to a sense of desperation among the population, increasing the risk of civil unrest. Travelers in Moldova should remain vigilant and aware of their surroundings, particularly in areas where tensions may be heightened. 5. Serbia. Serbia's challenges are rooted in historical ethnic tensions, political instability, and organized crime, contributing to its designation as one of the more dangerous countries in Europe. While the capital Belgrade has a vibrant cultural scene and attracts tourists, underlying issues related to nationalism and political unrest persist. Protests against government policies, corruption, and perceived injustices can erupt suddenly, sometimes leading to violence. The influence of organized crime, particularly in drug trafficking and human trafficking, poses additional risks, with law enforcement often overwhelmed by the scale and complexity of these networks. Additionally, the unresolved tensions with Kosovo continue to affect Serbia's political climate, resulting in a polarized society where ethnic divisions can lead to violence. Visitors should exercise caution, particularly during times of political unrest, and remain informed about local developments that could impact their safety. 4. Kosovo. Kosovo continues to navigate the complexities of post-conflict society, with ethnic tensions, political instability, and organized crime posing significant challenges. The legacy of the Kosovo War has left deep divisions, particularly between ethnic Albanians and Serbs, leading to periodic outbreaks of violence and unrest. Political instability often manifests in protests and demonstrations, which can escalate unpredictably. The presence of organized crime networks involved in drug trafficking and human smuggling further complicates the security landscape, as law enforcement struggles to maintain order. Additionally, the lack of international recognition from certain countries affects Kosovo's political situation, creating a sense of isolation and insecurity. Travelers must remain aware of their surroundings and the underlying tensions, particularly in mixed ethnicity areas, to ensure their safety while navigating this fragile environment. 3. Albania. While Albania has made significant strides toward stability, it still grapples with issues related to organized crime, corruption, and political unrest. The country has become a transit hub for drug trafficking and human smuggling, leading to a rise in violent crime associated with these illicit activities. Certain regions are particularly affected, where the presence of organized crime syndicates poses a threat to public safety. Corruption within law enforcement and government institutions undermines efforts to combat these issues effectively, leading to a general atmosphere of lawlessness in some areas. Protests against government policies or economic hardship can also turn violent, particularly in urban centers. Although tourist destinations like Tirana and the Albanian Riviera are generally safe, travelers must remain vigilant and informed about local conditions, as criminal activities can spill over into broader society, impacting safety and security. 2. Russia. Russia is characterized by a combination of political repression, societal unrest, and escalating violence in various regions. The government under President Vladimir Putin has maintained a tight grip on power, stifling dissent through legal measures and outright violence against political opponents, journalists, and activists. This environment of fear fosters a climate where citizens are wary of expressing dissent or participating in protests. Furthermore, areas like Chechnya and Dagestan remain volatile due to ongoing conflicts and the heavy-handed tactics employed by authorities to suppress insurgency. The impact of the war in Ukraine has also intensified nationalism and xenophobia within Russia, leading to further instability. Economic challenges, driven by sanctions and a lack of transparency, have exacerbated societal issues, with organized crime and corruption remaining rampant. Travelers must navigate these dangers carefully, as even routine activities can expose them to risks associated with political turmoil and civil unrest. 1. Ukraine. Ukraine's ongoing conflict with Russia significantly impacts its safety and stability. The war, which escalated dramatically in 2022 with a full-scale invasion, has led to widespread devastation across the country, particularly in the eastern regions. Civilians have faced relentless bombardments, displacement, and a humanitarian crisis that has resulted in millions fleeing their homes. In addition to the immediate dangers posed by military action, the conflict has exacerbated economic instability, increasing poverty and desperation among the population. Areas near the front lines are fraught with risk from unexploded ordnance and active military engagements, creating an environment where both locals and foreign visitors must exercise extreme caution. The war's repercussions also extend to civil unrest, as citizens rally for support, demand reforms, and navigate the complexities of a wartime economy, making Ukraine one of the most perilous nations in Europe today.